Welcome to Threat Simulator. Let's get started. So you're going to log in to Threat Simulator using the username and password that you entered. And the first thing you're going to see is our topology and deployment tutorials. And in this, you're going to deploy your first agent so we can actually start testing your security protocols. So let's look at our on-premise step-by-step guide. And in here, you'll have the ability to obviously copy any of the scripts or execution permissions that you need. And so we're actually going to run through this together. And so I've copied our first kind of set of instructions from the step-by-step guide over there. And we're going to start to deploy this agent as we speak. So let's go through this. It shouldn't take too long to actually go through this. It's just a matter of minutes. And as long as your agent is, capable of, or your machine is capable of running Docker, Linux machine, you're fine when it comes to running this. So we're going to go through the different steps from this perspective, and you'll see I'll go back and forth in terms of grabbing some of the execution permissions now, and we'll run those as we deploy this agent, and then eventually, obviously, our bash script here, we'll paste that in and start running this. So a couple of things, you're going to have to enter an agent name. Make sure this is descriptive. In this case, we're going to call branch Texas, and you'll see as we go through getting started why this is important. A location of where it is or what it is that you're trying to kind of test is pretty important, as well as you're going to be prompted to actually confirm that it is your username that you're doing. So here you have my username for this account, John Carson. So we're going to go through that. And now we're actually proceeding with the agent installation. I'll just extend this a little bit so you guys can see it, and I'll clear it when it might need to be cleared. Again, you'll see it speed up here as it's starting to go through all of its different processes. But again, we're typically kind of deploying agents in just a matter of minutes, and then really getting to the assessments and simulations so that you can actually get to attacking yourself and testing your different security protocols. Clear this and just kind of confirm everything is working. Let me just close. I'll just close this out now. All right. So now you'll see, boom, on the topology page. Here we go. So now Branch Texas is our agent here, and it's actually communicating with our dark cloud. This is where all the scenarios are going to be run. And in this, because this is a safe simulation, even though it's actual attacks and traffic, this is only between our agent, where you just deployed it, and the dark cloud over there. So although we're going to be testing all the different security protocols in between that, at no point will any of this actually be on your production environment. So we can always click on our agent and make sure that everything's kind of normal and it's doing what it needs to do. You can always rescan it too. And then on this little dot here, and this is important because we're going to create a security profile. So I'm going to name this something pretty simple because we're going to be testing our Palo Alto IPS signatures. And here I'm going to go to our list of all of our different vendors. And these are all kind of security vendors or security protocols that you can choose from. And like I said, we're going to look at Palo Alto Networks and our IPS signatures to make sure everything is actually working the way it should work. You can continue to add security controls, of course, and eventually you'll save. And now that we have our agent deploy and our security profile saved, we're going to actually look at our assessments and get to attacking. And under our assessments, you have three kind of buckets: policy, instrumentation, and kill chain. And I'm going to show you how to build one of these, and then you can actually run it yourself. And so under this assessment, what we're going to do is actually jump to just scenarios here. And we're going to build one. So we'll create a scenario. And again, here's our three buckets: instrumentation, kill chain, and policy. We're going to choose instrumentation, and we're going to do a series of assessments of our web browser security. Again, for our Palo Alto IPS signatures, you can always look at the details of these. This will give you a really nice overview of what the assessments are going to go through, as well as on the right-hand side, a ladder diagram of exactly the different steps of the test itself. So let's look at, there's different settings. So the advanced here, pretty simple. We're just going to actually change this one to HTTP for the sake of this test. You can then do a second one with HTTPS. We'll select our agent. Again, we only have one, so it's fairly easy. And then we're going to name the scenario. And here I always encourage people to be as descriptive as possible because you may end up using the same series of tests and scenarios for different places. And so for different branches that come up online, or you want to, you've deployed different protocols or different security solutions to those different branches, you want to be able to do that. And let's add, this is over HTTP because in the future I'll probably do one over HTTPS. And we're going to add and we're going to run the scenario. And that's all it takes. So in a matter of minutes, we've been able to deploy the agent, build our security profiles, run our first assessment, and you're going to see this is running now. And we'll be back in future videos actually describing what's going on and the different remediation recommendations that you'll see for the audit results and how to get you from finding something that's either misconfigured or improperly secure or insecure to actually fixing it itself. So again, I'm Kyle Flaherty, and thank you and welcome to Threat Simulator.